how our audio sounds today. See if we can get this to come up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I need a band. I do need a band and a glove. Gonna have to do some serious stretching, I think, today. Oof. Just to make sure everything wants to move. Let's see how this sounds. Check, check, check. Let's see how this sounds. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. I think it sounds pretty good. Check, check, check. I think it sounds pretty good. Hey, Sycamore is here. What's up, Sycamore? Oof. Just getting our day started here today. Let me see if this would look any better. A little more angle. Oh. All right, let's try that. Oh. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. Monday after Thanksgiving, always a little tougher getting back to work. Oh. Always a little tougher for my back to loosen up. Had a really productive day so far. Made a bunch of content, got some stuff posted, making some progress on the other initiatives that I'm working on. Gonna start hitting some balls here in a minute. Okay. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. It's starting to get cold and dark earlier and earlier, so we're gonna have to adjust, be a little flexible with the timing of the streams. Hey, Pro DN4EE is here. I'm doing great, my friend. How are you doing? Oh, there's lots to be grateful for today. Another day to try to pursue my goals, my best self. Another day without alcohol. These are all really good things. Like I said, lots to be grateful for. How are you doing, Pro? Super important to just spend the 5 minutes, get loose. Don't want to injure ourselves. We've already done enough of that. So I'll do some stretching. We'll go into some drills that I want to work on for ball striking. Abe says, where'd you find that? Do you mean the band? The band, it was in my golf bag there. Oh. That handsomeness, good sir. Oh. You did trick me. You got me, bro. Appreciate that. Oh, thanks for being here, Abe. Thanks to everybody who said hi so far in the chat. just getting our day started here. Doing some streaming outside. We're going to hit balls, do some drills. No knee brace today. So for this, I like to do some hip openers, like airplanes. And then come back to the middle, do some squats. Trying to make sure all these muscles are activated. I want to just start swinging and hit the other side. All right, so that all feels pretty good. I also have already done some stretching and yoga this morning, so always makes it a little easier to get warm. I can put this 5-iron away. And what club should we start with? I'll start with like an 8-iron. And I'm just going to be working some contact drills. It's been a while since I've been out here practicing, so gonna need to go pretty slow. Trying to get back into it after the Thanksgiving break. Hey, D's Nuts is here. Welcome to the stream, my friend. I am gonna be doing some ball striking drills out here today. Maybe demonstrating some drills. If you guys have questions, or there's always drills, that the chat wants us to show, or people will come and say, hey, I'm struggling with a slice, or my contact has been not so good. Probably do some band drills or towel drills. You guys have seen me do that before, where we tuck the band. You see what happened to Mike? I see what you were going to do there, Abe, and it was pretty well executed, especially because the last part went on to a second line there in the chat. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but well done. Adam said, swing that Tiger Jr. I'll take that. Still trying to make sure all our muscles are ready to go. I'm not going to hurt my back, which is always a distinct possibility. Losing my balance. Jackson's here. What's up, Jackson? Hey, Jamin's here. What's up, Jamin? Thanks for stopping in to say hi. Buffalo said, I'm almost done. Almost done with what? If you really want something for that, Buffalo. Hey, Sarah said hi. What's up, Sarah? Just take a look at this wear mark. If you really need to get in the mood and you're interested in golf, that's what you want it to look like. Just hitting the center of the face a whole bunch. Oh. That feels great. All right, stream's filling up now. About 95 watchers in here. Thank you guys so much for stopping in to Say hi. Sarah said you are so good at golf. Well, it depends on the day, Sarah. Let's see how that plane looks. Pretty good. The bag there making me nervous, amigo. Something would have to go terribly wrong, Jamin, for a golf ball to hit over there. Maybe on the rebound. Like if I pulled one and it hit the net the right way, it could bounce and hit there, but... I love doing these slow motion swings, especially when we're coming back from not swinging for a while. Just builds that confidence. You can find the center of the face a whole bunch. Try to get those feels back. Sarah says, change your club to a wood. Well, Sarah, we'll get there eventually. Maybe just me and my crazy swings. Well, Jamin, it just takes practice. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Pretty exciting, guys. If you're interested in more content, more instruction, more community, think like a Facebook group where people can interact, but actually cool. I have a new community on SKOOL, SKOOL. We're just getting that started. It's free to join. So go check me out over on SKOOL if you're digging the vibes here on YouTube and you want to continue learning more and more about golf and being the best version of yourself. I'm going to be posting stuff over on there as well, so I'd love to have you join me on SKOOL. What else, guys? Oh, we're doing online lessons, one-on-one coaching now. Some of you guys have been asking for that. I've been getting emails about coaching, so Skillest is where you can find me. It's a really, really cool online remote coaching platform called Skillest. So we're doing it, guys. These are the things, you know, some of the things that it seems like people are investing in and spending time on, trying to build out these platforms, and I'm incredibly grateful for all the support. My name is Zach. Zach says I'm your biggest fan. Very cool. I am. We got snow today, beginning to practice some swings as well on the canvas drop I told you about. Even started a fire. Good vibes. Incredible. Liam says, link me at Northwick Park. Probably not today. Dakota, is it easier to golf in joggers? Great question, Dakota. I don't think it's easier. I think it's a fashion choice. I like joggers. I think they're really comfortable. My name is King Jong-un, and I invented golf. You know, I'm gonna be honest, Double D. I'm not buying either one of those statements. I'm selling those, selling them to you. Sold. Oh, feels nice to hit some balls again, guys. It's been, what, a week since we've been out here together on the live stream working on our game. Hey, Elias is here. What's up, my dude? Just working on some drills and things to get back in the swing of... that was a bad pun. Swing of the golf. Probably set up that RAPSODO in a few minutes and maybe do some wedge work. I'm excited for you guys to see this 2-ball, worst ball scramble video that I filmed, because the wedges were absolutely dialed. I almost made another one, landed it directly next to the hole. Double D said handicap. Right now I'm 1.3. 1.3 gin. Don't have a home course at the moment. This is my home course. The backyard. The backyard links. Nobody knows these backyard links like I do. I might be getting a crank 5 wood. Very cool, Elias. I've only heard about the crank stuff, you know, mostly in the context of Bryson, but I would be interested to hear another review of their stuff. Hey, Adam's here. What's up, dude? Still off the alcohol. Start my league at Fox Hill Sims on Wednesday. First year doing it sober. Guys, let's clap it up for Adam. Drop some likes in the chat. Drop some likes on the stream. Clap it up for Adam. Staying sober. Doing the work. It's not easy, bro, but I'm proud of you for putting the work in. Trying to do what's best for you. You won't regret it, right? If you're what, 2, 3, 4 weeks in now, you're going to start to feel better. Your sleep will improve. Your brain will be clear. It's kind of crazy when you're going through those first few days and weeks once you stop drinking. There we go, guys. Boho Candle Studio said hi. What's up, Boho? Nice. All right, guys. Need a quick re-rack. Re-rack. I will say, obviously, you guys have heard me talk a lot about sobriety and you know, my journey drinking a lot and now not drinking at all. I'm not one to toot my own horn all that much, but I think it was just lots of experience. I was a very good beer pong player. I remember my brother and I one night at a party just running the beer pong table for legitimately 2 hours. Like, it was just one of those days where you couldn't miss, you couldn't lose. We were just, boom, balls back, everything. And I certainly don't miss drinking, but I do, you know, have lots of those fond memories of those moments with those people. But what you realize about those moments is they would still be special even without alcohol. Because what makes those moments great are the people and the memories. 3 in a few days. I'm noticing the sleep thing heavy now. There you go. What's your max drive? Longest one I've ever hit is probably like 350. What are you practicing right now? Working on ball striking, trying to hit the center of this club face. Sycamore says, I'm in Indiana, so my clubs are put up till April, but it's nice to see someone swinging. Did I miss a comment? You're a very good Pong player. Do it with NA Brews or Pop. There you go. All right, let's go to like maybe a 50-60% type swing. Trying to feel that ball first contact. Making sure we're striking it right in the center of this club face, guys. Both vertically and horizontally. We want that strike right there in the center. And the way you do that, you build that skill up at slow speed. Then you ramp it up. Then you start trying to hit the ball further. Not the other way around. I see so many people trying to swing super hard, but they're barely hitting the club, let alone the center of the face. I mean, truly, most people would be best served by swinging like this when they first start, for like hundreds of swings. Just learn how to get the ball and the club to meet. And instead, you go to the range and you see everybody with these big, long swings, and then they're like, you know, toe shanking it and sculling it along the ground. Hit tape on the club face. Tape is a great way. You can use foot spray as well. I've seen lots of different versions of that. They make stickers too, or that'll show you in the impact position. Those are really great tools, especially early on in your golfing career. You know, I've spent thousands of hours practicing and playing, so I have a pretty good sense of, you know, if we want to hit one off the toe, how we do that, and then subsequently what that feels like in your hands versus hitting one off the heel. It's going to feel different. Oh, see, I can definitely hit it off the heel. That was fully off the hosel. So there you go, exaggerating the heel strike. It's a good thing we have a fence there. I think it's fine. So, ricochets are my favorite. Broke the fence. I don't think we did. Yeah, see, that's how you move the strike around. And I could have told you immediately. That's what that sounds like and feels like. Imagine if we did break the fence. That would be devastating. "75% club up to 100 with the club." There you go. I've been trying to continue smoothing out that transition from the top, right? Not rushing it and throwing the club this way, but just letting it continue to fall and trying to get that speed at the bottom. Grade A hosel shank. Yeah, that was perfectly off the hosel. Trying to feel it nice and wide. When my swing is the best and performs the best, I really am feeling like I'm extending that club up. How do you know when to increase speed? Good question, Double D. I think when you are hitting the ball solidly, and let's do a more concrete example. If you can hit 10 balls with an 8 or a 9 iron, even if you're only trying to hit it 40 or 50 yards, you know, with a swing that's maybe waist to waist, if you can hit 8 or 9 out of those 10 balls solidly, you know, the ball's up in the air, it's flying straight towards your target, you're hitting the ball first and then the turf, I think at that point is when you can start going from, call it 40 to 50 yards to maybe 70 to 80 yards with that same club. So not a full swing still, but just start adding a little more speed. It's going to get more difficult. I imagine your 8 or 9 out of 10 is going to drop to 5. You're going to start, you know, hitting it less solidly the more speed you add. But then once you get 5 back to 8 or 9 at that higher speed, then you add more speed. And it's just, that's how you build it. Crank is a good club, but the only downside is, for my autism, makes buying clubs hard. Well, I think as long as you're able to find something that works for you, Elias, that's what matters. So that was a little high on the face, or heavy, right? If you feel it a little bit, so it's shallower feel. You'll start to learn you feel the turf and the ball at the same time as opposed to the ball and then the turf. You know, if you really hit one heavy, you'll start to feel that there's almost no golf ball feel in the strike. This is an 8 iron. Good question, Smitty. Levi said hi. Hello, my friend. So what are we working on here, guys? We're working on ball striking, trying to hit the center of this club face. Doing it at slow speed to build our skill. The number one thing, I should make a video about this. The number one thing that holds people back from getting better is trying to improve or work on their swing with too much speed. If everybody just slowed it down and they worked on hitting, you know, little half shots, 3/4 shots, you'd make so much more progress more quickly. I hear you, Elias. I don't know if I would, well, how about this? I've not been diagnosed with autism, But I also feel that the way the club looks behind the ball has to be perfect. There's like 3 companies in the world. In my mind, they're like Titleist, TaylorMade, and maybe a couple other boutique ones I could think of. But like Callaway, no shot. I've never seen a Callaway club that I liked behind the ball. Really happy with that rep there. Let's see how that one looks. Yeah, really enjoying that transition move, just letting the club hang there for a brief moment. Incredible, guys. 20 likes on the stream already. Shout out to you guys. We've got over 150 of you in here watching now, so drop a like for yourselves. Keep it up. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for me. It really does help us out. Alien Moon said hi. Hello, Alien Moon. Hope you're having a great Monday. Just doing some drills with the old 8-iron. My favorite club in the bag as far as the irons go. Usually I would say driver's my favorite club. I never have a bad time. Shouldn't say never. 9 days out of 10, I'm having a good day hitting driver. Just fun to hit the ball hard. Hit it far. Swing looking like Tommy's. Yes, we've got that a lot, guys, between the long hair and the relatively similar natures of the swings. One of my recent eureka moments was letting my swing pull my club from the ball instead of pulling the club from the ball as step 1 in the swing. Yes, totally, Adam. That makes sense. Got to find those things that work for you. Nigel said nice. Thanks, Nigel. I got you, Elias. Don't worry. See, I really like just that little pause move at the top. Lets it shallow. I need to learn how to do it when the swing is longer. But it's just coming right up the plane and back down the plane. There's no, over the top or steepening happening, which is awesome. Nigel said, can't wait to get off work and practice this afternoon. What are you working on, Nigel? What part of your game have you been practicing the most? I need to practice short game more. You got to find a way to practice my chipping more frequently. All right, starting to feel a little more speed wanting to creep into the swing. Some clubs in the brands like Titleist, TaylorMade, yeah, they're not all going to work for everybody, right, Elias? Do you guys think I should do a collaboration with Tommy Fleetwood because of all the comments that say I look just like him? It would be pretty fun. That one felt a little steep. Just a little too much this way. Woods and hybrid. There you go, Nigel. It's always good to have something specific and concrete to work on. DD says, I'm going to try your practice method tomorrow. It's a good idea. It will definitely work. I've had a few lessons in my life, guys, but mostly I'm self-taught and got to be a scratch and even a plus handicap. which is why it's so exciting to be able to give back and do some lessons now. We've got amazing feedback already from our first couple of students. And I'm not afraid to admit, guys, I'm a much better coach than I am player. It's much easier for me to see somebody else's swing and, understand what's going on and what needs to change than even I'm able to do it myself sometimes, but pretty exciting to have that to be able to offer now. Hey, Zach is here. Welcome back. Guys, I brought these mittens out. We can do some whatever that drill's called. The flat hand drill like this. So grab yourselves an oven mitt or something. You can just push on the back of this grip. And what this is going to teach us is to swing the club with our legs and our body and learn how to release it and generate speed without throwing it with the right hand. So you've seen Ludwig Oberg do this drill a bunch, right, where he's just using this paddle hand and learning how to hit shots, releasing the club with just the body and the left arm. I'm in Rhode Island. Do you do in-person classes? I've never done in-person, but if you're nearby, we could certainly figure that out. But the remote lessons work really well, guys. It's a super great platform to see, to give feedback, and you can draw on the videos and show, different planes and slow it down and go back and stuff like that. It's called casting. Exactly right, McDobb. What's your favorite meme? Ooh, good question. Favorite meme? I really like the Spider-Man meme where they're all like pointing at each other. I think that one can come in handy. Hey, Pinto Beans is here. But Justin, if you are interested in in-person lessons, send me an email. I could probably figure that out if it's not too far away. So again, we're learning how to release the club using our body. We're not flipping it or throwing that club head. Love that one. Yeah, there's so many good memes. It's hard to pick like a favorite one because there's different ones that belong in different circumstances. Hear that strike, guys? That's just with this hand basically pushing the club, and all driven by the body. I'm keeping my chest turning. How long have you been playing? About 20 years, Nigel. Levi, I'm a 1 right now. 1 handicap. I know, guys. It's gone the wrong way. We started the season as a 0. Last season, I was a +1, so we're going the wrong way, but that's okay. Always got stuff to work on, and it's good to have other great things going on in your life that take you away from the golf course, so it all depends on your perspective, right? $300 viewers. You guys are going crazy today. Hit that like button for 300 viewers while we're doing weird paddle hand drills, working on our ball striking. Wisconsin is pretty far. But yeah, guys, if you're interested in the lessons, check out the link in the description or in my bio. That's on Skillest. Or you can just Google your way there. Google John Young Golf Skillest. You'll find me. And it's not for everyone, right? It's not for people who are comfortable with where their game is at, or they're like, yeah, I'm an 18 handicap and I'm comfortable staying there, then it's not for you, and that's totally fine. We're still going to do these live streams. There's still going to be lots of great content, but there's always a select group of people that are like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm not really comfortable and happy with playing bad golf anymore, and I want to get better. Especially if you're somewhere where it snows. I've spent so much time learning how to hit balls and work on my swing inside. So a lot of coaches get nervous about that. They want to be there. They want to see the ball. I'm like, no, dude, I can help you get better at home without even hitting balls. Day 47. Question about the hitting mats. I plan on getting one for the garage this winter. Do you have any tips or insight on not bouncing the club off the mat before striking the ball? Good question, Pinto Beans. So what you're describing is hitting behind the ball, right? And what we want to practice is hitting the ball first and then the turf. So a couple different ways you can do that. You can use some tape, or I'll use this to demonstrate. You could use a towel, right? But you're going to put something behind the ball, maybe an inch or two. You could start with like a club head, right? And that is going to give you feedback. So if you do hit the ball heavy, you're going to hit that, either that tape or the towel, whatever it is. So use that on your mat to give you feedback. And you'll learn pretty quickly the difference in what it feels like. You know, pay attention to what the strike feels like in the club, what your hands feel when you hit one really solidly, you know, and you don't hit that marker at all, or that tape, versus when you do, or when you hit the mat first, it's going to feel different in your hands. So Levi has been playing for 2.5 years and you're 4. That's amazing. Keep up the hard work. What ball do you use? TP5X. Time for a new mat. I know, Nigel. Well, I honestly, it looks worse than it is. There's still plenty of decent turf to hit off of, so I'm going to try to get my money's worth out of it. Little Creator is here. Little Friendly Creator said hi. Hello, my friend. Wow, guys, almost 400 viewers now. Smash that like button for yourself, showing up today to try and learn something. Boom. Just like that. Who needs 2 hands? If you can learn how to do this drill, just watch how much better your ball striking will be almost immediately. Because there's no cheating. You can't cast the club. You can't save it at the bottom with your right hand. You're just pushing on the back of this grip with no, you know, there's no grip there. That was hit a little heavy, but... And then ideally, what I need to get better at is doing this with just the one hand. Is it hard to play with those gloves? Oh, well, this is just for a drill. Just an oven mitt. Yeah. These are, I think these are Callaway, yeah. What do they call these? Range mittens? Any tips for full swing on driver? I always hit my irons further. Good question, Levi. So generally, if you hit your irons pretty well, but you struggle with the driver, if you hit like a steep, spinny slice, like a high fade with a lot of spin, a lot of times, if you've learned how to properly hit an iron, which is this, you know, high to low move where you're hitting down on the ball and then the grass, right? That's our iron swing, high to low. Hit down and through it. With the driver, it's the opposite. We want to kind of hit from low to high, up into the air, with not a lot of spin. So more like a forehand in tennis, right? A lot of people I see with the driver, they still get very steep. They swing down on it like they're hitting an iron. If you're hitting down on it like that, you're going to add a lot of spin. You're not going to get as much distance out of the club head speed that you are generating. And it's going to be a little tougher to hit the ball as straight as you could otherwise. So it's important to remember, Levi, that they are different swings with different objectives. So don't bring your iron swing to the driver, and vice versa. You know, if you set up like you're going to hit a driver with a 7-iron, you're going to have a tough time. So need help with my long irons? Any tips? Great question, Honey Bear. So with the long irons, we know the strike is super important. You're going to really get penalized for missing the center of that club face. So I always try to feel with long irons like my swing is very balanced, and I'm just letting the club do the work, little pause at the top, and I'm not trying to overly, swing 105%. If anything, I'm swinging 85 to 90%, especially with those longer clubs, because I just don't need, the extra 5 yards that I could get out of it is going to be more than offset by any, off-center strike. So I'm really focused on making a good balanced swing. That can really help with the long irons. How do you control the overswing in the backswing? Great drill for that. Grab a towel or a band. Use a band like this. Tuck it under your arms, and ideally you'll have a band that's long enough to reach, which I don't at the moment, but imagine this was across my chest and tucked under my arms. We could do it with these mittens, actually. So the idea here is to not let arms fall. So if you have a towel here and you chicken wing on the way back, boom, you're going to lose it over there. Same thing on the way through on that left side. So you won't be able to overswing if you do this correctly, right? Because what this is going to force you to do is turn. This is the top of my swing here, right? I can't go any further without, my arms getting disconnected. I'm going to lose that connection point. So this is a really, really good drill. And start slow. You don't have to do it trying to hit balls at full speed, but just learn what it feels like to keep that connection. And then in the same thing, connect it on the way through. That's a really awesome drill. Hey, Salty's here. I do remember you. What does it help with? Good question, creator. This helps with ball striking. So when we take the right hand out, I'm really just pushing, without this, imagine it would just a paddle like this. Be pushing on the back of the grip like that. And when we learn how to hit shots that way, without this right hand attached to the club, we have to release and turn the club with our body. I'm not able to cast it and flip it at the bottom to save it. So this helps us learn how to hit the ball solidly without much of that right hand at all. You hear how strong and solid that strike was? You're welcome, Manny. Honda said, cool white boy. Thanks, bro. As someone coming from a baseball background, what are the best ways to fix a poor iron swing path? Well, for swing path, make sure you know what you're trying to get to, right? Is your swing too far out to the right or too far to the left? But generally speaking, what you want to do is set up some physical barriers. So this is also going to answer Steven's question. We're going to do about how to stop the slice. I get this drill a lot. Or I get this request a lot, I should say. So here's what we're going to do. Only one drill that you need to fix your slice forever, guys. Truly, fix your slice forever. All you need is a head cover. So this is my driver head cover. If you slice, grab this head cover, put it down behind the ball and to the right. Just like that, okay? So this is the golf ball I'm going to hit. That's where I want you to put the head cover. What happens when you slice the ball is, it's universally true that the face is open if you're slicing it, right? But for the most part, the tendencies that we see is an inside takeaway and then a steepening or over the top move to get back to the ball, right? So your path ends up being this way, across it, out to in. And when the face is open, you make this kind of glancing blow at the ball. Imagine if you were going to hit a drop shot in tennis. You would open the racket, you would hit down on the ball, you'd add a bunch of spin, the ball wouldn't go anywhere. That's what's happening when you slice the ball with a driver. So now that we understand why it's happening, what do we do about it? Well, we need to get the face more closed, and we need to get the path more neutral, more this way instead of this way. So by putting the head cover here, this is going to create a physical barrier so that if you do make that inside and over the top swing, your path to the ball will be blocked. You won't be able to hit the ball that way. So what you need to do is learn how to hit shots with the head cover there, but not hitting it. This will get the path more neutral. And if you learn how to get the face square, you should see that ball fly very straight or even draw a little bit. That ball is going to go further It's going to be hit more solidly. So drop that head cover down, hit some shots like that. You don't have to go at full speed. Don't be afraid to hit 10 in a row and just go 50% on all of them, because it's going to take some time, a bunch of repetitions to move your motor pattern and change the way that club has been moving into impact. So don't be afraid to go slow. Miss that head cover and you'll stop slicing it forever. How's that for one drill in like 90 seconds? I'm a 1 right now, Steven. I tend to pull my iron shots. You talked about slicing, but how to counter a hook or pull. So they're different, right? And this is where I always encourage people to learn about the ball flight laws, or just generally, what are the conditions that cause different ball flights? Because if you can see and understand what the ball is doing, well, you can reverse engineer or understand what impact conditions cause that, right? So if you're hitting a pull, Rubik games, and you said just a straight pull so that ball's not curving back to the right or going further left, what that tells us is that at impact, the path is left of your intended target line, right? So somewhere like this. But the face is very square to that path because the ball's not curving in the air. So a couple different options. You can get that path more out to the right, so more neutral, with the same club face orientation, and the ball will fly very straight. Or you can learn how to deliver a slightly open club face with that same left path, and the ball will curve back to the right. And you could just learn how to hit fades and cuts. So really up to you which avenue you want to pursue. But really important, guys, when you're beginning your golf journey, to understand what causes certain ball flights. So if I hit one that starts left and goes left, that means that the path was left and the face was shut. Conversely, like if you hit a push fade, right, you're swinging from the inside out to the right, but with an open club face. So that ball's starting right and then curving to the right. Whereas if that same path with a shut face, you might hit a big hook that starts out to the right and then curves a bunch back to the left. I stand too far away from the ball, so I push my shots left to right. When I move close to the ball, should I start taking chunks out of the turf, hitting fat shots? Can I fix this? Well, like anything, Riley, take it one step at a time. If you know that you're standing, the wrong distance from the ball, if you're really like stretched out like this, right, you're reaching for the ball, that's step one. You got to get your fundamentals in order. So that's setup, posture, grip, all that stuff, right? A good rule of thumb is have your arms feel like they're hanging directly underneath you. They're not out like this, and they're not in close to your body when you set up to the ball, right? They're just hanging naturally under you. Another easy kind of, heuristic or rule of thumb is when you set up to the ball, one hand width should fill the gap between the end of the club and your body, right? So my setup here, one hand width, perfectly right there. Right? So that's step one, get your fundamentals in order. Then step two, you're telling me I'm hitting it fat when I do set up properly. Those are separate issues. You got to learn how to set up properly and then say, okay, I'm hitting it fat, what do I do? So let's assume you fix the setup, but you're still hitting behind the ball. Well, that just tells us that your weight transfer is, non-existent, right? You're either, staying on your backside or reverse tilting. Something is causing the low point of your swing to be too far behind here. We need to get that low point in front of the ball so that we can hit down on it. We can hit the ball first and then the turf and have a divot that's in front of the golf ball. So to do that, you need to shift the low point forward in transition, right? The low point starts, we're on the ground. That's the low point when we start. So to get it over here, what we have to do is shift our weight forward. This will move the low point so we can hit down on the ball and then hit the turf. So those are two separate things, Riley. Does that make sense? So I would start slow, Riley. And you can separate this skill from the golf swing. You can learn how to just stand here and shift your weight forward. Right? This is your backswing. Transition, we get our weight from here into this lead heel. That moves the low point forward, and then we swing. So you can work on that. Just make some swings, backswing, weight shift, follow through. And when you work on this, go slow. Trust me. You're going to want, so do your setup. Make sure you're in the proper position. And just learn how to hit little ones like that, where you hit the ball first and then leave a divot in front of the ball. Good setup. Make sure you're getting that weight forward. Easier said than done. All practice. Yeah, I mean, that's half of it too, right? It's much easier to just say conceptually, like, well, here are the 3 things you need to do in order, and then just go do them. That's not how golf works. It's not how anything gets done, but it is important to understand, what am I trying to accomplish? So separate the 2 things. Just because you practice bad habits a lot and you can hit the ball okay sometimes, well, that doesn't, that your setup is wrong. And it's not like it needs to be, you can certainly stand, there's guys like Keegan that stand relatively far away from the ball, or other guys like John Rahm that stand relatively close to the ball, but it's all within a certain functional window, right? When you were setting up for different clubs, where are you looking? Are you looking directly at the center of the ball on the tee or ground, or more on the front back, if that makes sense? Yeah, it does make sense. I try to always keep my eyes kind of right on the back of the ball, like right here where the club is going to hit it. I try to keep my focus like right there. And try to keep my eyes there for as long as I can. Hey, Sina's here. ¿Cómo estás, amigo? I can't stop farting. Well, I can't help you with that. Been seeing a bunch of your YouTube shorts in my feed recently. Good work, man. Thanks, Sina. I appreciate that. I have certainly pushed the accelerator as far as making content goes, as some of you guys have noticed. I'm posting, minimum 5 shorts a day, trying to live stream every day. Hit perfect when the ball is away from me. I'm 10 to 12 handicap. I appreciate the tip. Thanks. You got it, Riley. My name is Gabriel, and I played golf before. Very cool. What's your best drill for early extension, trying to get more forward shaft lean and impact? Great question. I've struggled with this myself, guys. And what I learned is that the early extension is really just a reaction to what's happening in your backswing and in your position at the top, right? So my early extension was because I had an inside takeaway, and I was fighting the club going this way. So when you do that, in order to get the club back on plane and not, like miss the ball, well, you have to do this. You got to go like this, and then you can hit the ball. But it's really inconsistent, and you're like kind of stuck, and you have this kind of humpy motion to your swing. And what clicked for me finally in fixing my early extension was, it wasn't because of what my hips were doing. That was all just a reaction to the backswing. So once I learned how to keep this club nice and wide, and then it just kind of falls from the top here, well, there's no reason to early extend from here, because I can just turn, and the club is on plane. So I did a lot of freezer drills, where you take the club to the top, make a full backswing, but you're going to just let the club truly pause and hang there for a full second. Right? So by learning how to not rush from the top, all that early extension is just a result of going like this from the top, throwing the club out, casting it, and then you got to save it with this tilt. I am so Sigma. I'll take your word for it. I used to golf all the time, but recently I barely play. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Scene. I hope you can get back out there soon. I do PGA golf. Do you know Yankee Run? I don't. Tell me more. Any tips for a 3-iron? Get a 7-wood. Seriously. Golf is much easier. But if you're really committed to the 3-iron, then make a good balanced swing. Right? Don't try to kill it. Just try to hit it really solid all the time. That's my team. Very cool, Easton. Subhumans play golf. Well, that's like millions of people you're talking about, but do you, bro? Marcelo said, do a Happy Gilmore shot. We can do a Happy Gilmore shot. I should have practiced this more before I did the Happy Gilmore challenge, guys. You're going to see that come out at the end of this week. Boom. That was striped. You hear that? That was unexpected. Hit it really good. Why does my ball go left and then fades way right? Great question, Manny. So if your ball starts way to the left and then it curves back to the right a whole bunch, what that tells us is the face is open at impact. So if this is my target line, right, square would be perpendicular to that line. Open means pointed that way to the right. So at impact, your club face is open, but it's also on a path that is well left of your target line. So you're swinging it with an open face across the ball this way. So it's starting to the left, and then because of that open face, it's going to peel back to the right a whole bunch. So the drill I would have you do, Manny, is grab the head cover from your driver. You're going to drop it down behind your ball to the right. And this is going to block that path that's across the ball. So what I want you to learn how to do at slow speed is how do I get this club working more neutral down my target line, right? It's not going to look like this anymore because your path will be blocked. So you're going to have to learn how to get that club more neutral, maybe even from the inside some. And once you deliver the face square or slightly closed with that better path orientation, you should see the ball start to not only start straight, but fly pretty straight down your target line. And conversely, guys, if you struggle with a hook, where that ball's starting way out to the right and curving to the left, you do the same drill, you just put it on the other side. So if you get stuck and you have that club kind of way behind you and then it's flipping out to the right this way, this can be really helpful putting it over here. Right, learn how to hit shots without disturbing that head cover there. So give that drill a try, Manny. It'll fix your slice immediately. What do you do when at the range / practice sessions before a round to warm up? Great question, Rubik. Really good question. So I think it's really important. Let's say, we're going not just a casual round, but like a tournament round. I'm going to get there an hour ahead of time, do a full warm up. First, call it 5, 10, 15 minutes is getting my body ready. So that's some stretching, some dynamic warm-ups. I do like RDLs with a golf club. You can just, start getting all this posterior stuff warmed up. A lot of rotation. I do stuff with bands to make sure that my hips and my shoulders and my thoracic spine, which I need them to rotate a whole bunch in my golf swing, right? This rotation here and down here and up here. So I want to warm up all those muscles and get them ready. Then from there, I'll probably go and chip for 15 or 20 minutes, hitting a variety of shots around the green, out of a bunker if there is one. Fairway lies, rough lies, seeing how the ball is releasing on the greens. Is it grainy? If I'm chipping into the grain, is it going to spin a bunch? Down grain, it's going to roll out more. So trying to get a feel for where I need to land the ball around the green. Then as far as full swing warm-up, that's probably the last, the next 15 minutes, and then the last 20 minutes would be for putting. Just going through the bag, starting with some wedges, I'll hit some little chippy ones, just starting to get a feel for how my swing feels that day, if there's any tendencies as far as strike, am I hitting it on the toe or the heel? Am I hitting it thin or heavy, right? Just trying to look for patterns. Is the ball wanting to turn over more today, or is it wanting to fade more today? I do hit the ball pretty straight most of the time, but there are certainly days where, for whatever reason, you're just getting the face a little more shut, and that ball wants to draw, so you just kind of keep that in mind. Kind of work through the bag, 5, 10 wedge shots, 3 to 4 shots with a short iron, and then maybe like a 6 iron, 3 to 4 more. Probably hit 3 or 4 woods, either a 7 wood or a 5 wood. And then I like to hit a few more drivers, maybe like 6 to 8 drivers. And again, going through your whole process, your routine. So you're picking a target behind the ball. right? Trying to emulate what you would be doing on the golf course. Tips on getting the club more vertical and less inside on the takeaway. Sure, Michael. So the first drill that I think this is great for everybody to do is make some swings with just your lead arm only, right? Just this, if you're a right-handed player, Michael, take your right hand away. Just hold the club out in front of you like this and make some swings with just this lead arm. And you'll notice if you take the club way too far to the inside, it's going to feel weird. Same way if you take it really outside, it doesn't really feel strong. But if you can learn how to take this club just up and down the plane with this lead side, it starts to feel pretty effortless. You just send it up, send it back down. Another thing that helped me is just understanding how we want our hands and the club to move in the takeaway. So I used to go like this. My hands would go out and the club would go in. So my hands would get kind of away from my body and then the club's really inside this way, right? Whereas what we want is the opposite. We want the hands to stay in and that club stays out. So this arc can stay nice and wide around our body. So I just had to practice over and over again what that feels like to have my hands stay in, club stays out. You can also do the Nelly Corda drill. Grab a second golf ball, put it right behind the one you're going to hit, like this, and practice rolling this golf ball straight back. If you do the inside takeaway, Michael, this is going to go to the inside, right? It's not going to roll back on a straight line. So this is one of those drills you can do at home. You can improve your golf swing, guys, just in the hallway. Just grab 2 golf balls, work on your takeaway. Just getting that club moving straight back that way, right? You don't need a driving range. You don't need to even hit balls like this, right? This is going to give you instant feedback. If your takeaway is too inside, boom, golf ball is moving closer to me. If it's to the outside, you'll see the opposite. So if you're picking it up, you're going out this way, ball is going to move away from you. So give those couple drills a try, Michael. Princess Rosalina, Mario Movie 2. What are your thoughts on Arcos Golf? I tried Arcos for a long time, guys. It was great. It's a good interface. I liked all the data. I didn't really like having the butt plugs in my clubs. And the reason that I stopped using it was the subscription fee. I think it was like almost $200 a year. I said, for like 2 or 3 rounds of golf, I'm not sure this is worth it for me. Hey, thanks, Dante. What's your favorite movie of golf? I really like Greatest Game Ever Played. It's a really good one. Wii Sports, just like that. I know you're amazing at golf, but when you go for downswing, try and put the club in your pocket, but I know you are better than me. Well, it's still a good point, right? We don't want that club going steep. We want it, just kind of coming down. That right elbow is going to tuck in. You got it, Michael. If you guys are enjoying these tips, working on our games together, hit that subscribe button for me. It really does help me out. We do this pretty much every day. We do it sometimes inside, and we work on putting. But if you're interested in one-on-one lessons, guys, check out the link in my bio. Head over to Skillist, and we can get to work. Something that a lot of you guys have been asking for, so I'm excited to finally be able to offer online teaching. Hey, Zealand, how was your Thanksgiving last week? My Thanksgiving was great. It's always nice to see family, people you haven't seen for some time. And I hope you guys all had a good Thanksgiving as well. What are your thoughts on the flashlight drill, the 2 flashlights on the end of a stick thing that Golf Sensei suggests? I don't know that one, Pinto Beans. I'm going to have to learn more about it. Is that similar to where you're like trying to point the end of the club at the ball and then same thing here? That's what it reminds me of. Do you like Happy Gilmore? I do. I filmed a Happy Gilmore inspired video a week or two ago, and that's going to be coming out this Friday, guys. Pretty excited for that. There's been some shorts and some stuff already posted from that video. Moto King says, I hope all has been well. Life has been tough recently for me. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Moto King. And it's nice to see you in the chat. It's been a while. I've had some tough days myself recently, to be honest with you. Not every day is my best, and we all have things going on. And I hope that things start to turn around for you. But it's a good reminder, right? We're all going to have tough days. Everybody's going to have grief and setbacks, things they have to manage. And that's just part of being human. It doesn't make it easier, but knowing that we all go through that, we all experience that, I think can help. And make sure to use your support systems. You know, lean on your friends. If you're having a tough time, it's okay to tell people that. Like I just said, everybody has these moments where they feel down or they're, you know, having a tough time. Just pick up the phone and call your friend and say, hey man, I'm having a hard time. Can I just tell you about it? That can really help. It's not easy to do. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel weird. But if you just try, just, you know, reach out to somebody and say, hey, can I just talk to you for 5 minutes? It really is an important thing to use your support systems. $66 today. That's really good. But I'm here for you, Moto King. Job loss, career path, and family issues. I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm trying to figure out my career stuff. You know, the financial stuff never goes away, I don't think. You know, I'm in a worse spot financially than I was 2 years ago, but I'm much happier. And that's okay. Sometimes it's a trade-off. I'd love to hear how you think about weight transfer through the golf swing from address to follow through. Yeah, we can do that, Mason. How to know when to move on to next swing changes or thoughts. I have so many and find it hard to prioritize and know when to move on from one to the other. Well, Olivier, quickly, before I answer Mason's question, I think it's just a hierarchy of needs, right? So when you're first starting out, the first thing is like, can I hit the ball and can I get it in the air, right? Well, that was for me a long time ago. What I'm working on now is like, how do I hit the center of the face every single time? And how do I deliver like 1 or 2 degrees more shaft lane and impact? So like I've gone from this really big top of the pyramid to the very narrow, like at the end, right? I'm trying to work on, you know, making more putts from 3 to 8 feet. It's a very specific, narrow focus. So the real answer is once you've solved the thing you're working on, right? Say you're working on a big slice. Well, if you learn how to fix your slice, but then occasionally you top it or your contacts start suffering, well, that's the next thing to work on, right? So you try to maintain the progress that you made on the previous issue or area of focus, and you just continue narrowing that funnel down until you get, you know, better. So hopefully that makes sense. So weight transfer, Mason, I like to practice weight transfer away from the golf swing. So just for me, it was helpful to learn how to feel like I start, at least with an iron, like 60% here, and then my weight goes to here. I kind of push off, right? So then my weight feels like it's stacked kind of on the inside of this quad. And then in transition, I'm trying to get my weight from here into this left heel, right? So trying to feel what that feels like away from the golf swing helped, because I wasn't worried about hitting a ball or where the ball went, anything like that. It's like you have a light pointing out both sides of your club. Hold it like a club and trace a straight line with the head side straight back until you hinge. Oh, interesting. Do you like the short game? Yeah, short game is my favorite to practice. Grip side traces the line back, then you swing and trace the line to and through your ball. That makes sense. So you're kind of just, yeah, trying to keep everything wide in the takeaway. So same idea. You're welcome, Mason. Moto King, same here with the financial situation. I have to go to my next job right now. Wish I had more time to catch up. Keep kicking ass, John. Thanks so much, Moto King. I appreciate your support, and I'm here cheering you on, brother. So keep up the good fight. I know it's not always easy, but we're in this together. How long have you been playing golf for? I started this August. I'm scraping by as an 18.7 handicap. I'm trying to improve. You've definitely given some good tips to try. I subbed. Amazing, Rubik Games. Thank you so much for subscribing. I've been playing golf competitively for like 15 years. Probably 20 years since I started playing at all. But if you're already a 19 handicap and you just started playing, that's pretty solid, dude. So I think you're on to something. You probably have some athletic background. And if you want to take your game to the next level, hit me up on Skillest. We can do some one-on-one coaching. I'd love to help you play even better golf. Manny says, do golf balls make a difference when it comes to golfers with higher handicaps? I have a tendency to buy expensive golf balls. It's an addiction. So I think, obviously, you'll be able to notice more and you'll have more of an impact as your skill level improves. I think for golfers of every level, there will be some incremental differences. But if you're like a 30 handicap, I don't think you need to spend $60 a dozen to play Pro V1s that you're going to mostly hit into the woods. It's okay to not, you don't need that equipment yet. It's not really for you. Those expensive golf balls are for players who've been playing for a long time, and they, are looking for something specific with the performance of that golf ball. Oh, even better, Rubik Games, because one of the things that I'm best at is helping people who can't even hit balls, right? I learned how to get better at golf using just a phone set up like this or a mirror. There's tons of great drills you can do inside over the winter to work on your game. But check it out. Let me know what you think. Give me money. Oh, I don't have any, but if I did, I would give you some. Hey, John, my irons and wedges are fairly dialed. I was wondering how to add spin to my shots and stick the landings. Well, Splash, if you're hitting it solidly, right, so much of this depends on the conditions. Are the greens really firm or are they receptive? Or, are you downwind or into the wind? Unless the ball is coming in really low and it's not holding the green. But let's say you hit a 6-iron and it lands and it flew, 185 yards in the air and then it rolled out 7 yards. So it went 192, right? And it went 20 feet past where you landed. Well, that's still on most greens going to be totally fine. So rather than go chasing like more spin, I would make sure that your like launch angles and descent angles are where you need them to be. You can do that with TrackMan. And make sure that's all dialed, because I don't think that's necessarily like a rabbit hole you want to go down unless it's really messing things up. And you could probably solve that with equipment too. With a spinnier shaft or golf ball. What's your biggest tip on the squat move or keeping your trail hit back in the downswing? 2.8 here and have been recently struggling with this and can't find a good feel. Yeah, Rhino, I hear you. It can be very tough. The one that has helped for me the most is almost feeling like I'm doing a hula hoop. So you guys know those kids' toys, like it's just a plastic ring and you spin it around your waist, right? So I try to feel like almost if there was a hula hoop around my waist, I'm sending it back this way and then I'm like going around that way. So it's almost like I'm going further from the golf ball with my hips to not go this way, right? Because we need to get that thing back, right? But if you imagine you had almost like something attached where you had to send it with some energy, it would kind of turn this corner, right? You wouldn't like just sway back because that's not going to accomplish what you want, but it is that kind of turn, that rotational. Right. Another one that helps me sometimes is feeling like if you had a piece of paper on this right hip, you had to try to crunch it, like fold it in half with your hip, right? So you had to try to almost like compress this hip angle here. So either one of those can really help with what you're describing, I think, Rhino. You're good, mate. Keep going. Thanks, Oscar. I'm 28 handicap, been playing seriously for almost 2 years. If I hit it solid contact most of the time, it goes where I want. But I fat and thin it so much it doesn't matter. Advice. Great question, Josh. So I would tell you, if your good shots are good, then you probably just need to continue building your skill set. It sounds like your ground contact skill is lacking, right? And by that I mean, how consistently can you deliver this club where you hit the ball first and then the turf with a divot? It's in front of the ball. And this is very common. You really need to slow down, Josh, when you're working on this stuff. So just learn how to hit the ball solidly at truly like 20%. So I have an 8-iron here, and if I was working on this at the range, I'd be trying to hit this ball like 30 yards in the air. Not 155 or 160, but 30 yards. And I'm just trying to practice getting the center of this club face onto the back of that ball every single time. This is one of the key tenets of impact. The others being, you know, face control and face contact. But that's not what you said. You said I'm having a hard time fatting it and thinning it. So that's ground contact. That's one of the keys. And if you just slow down, you'll find you make so much more progress. Just learn how to hit that ball solidly every single time at that slower speed. Got to go back to work. I'll be in your streams as often as I can. Thanks, Rubik. I appreciate you. Thanks for all your support and engaging. Ryan says, love what you do, big guy. You give great tips and have great energy. I'm all here for it. Thanks, Ryan. That means a lot to me, my dude. If you guys are enjoying the stream like Ryan, you want to hit that subscribe button, just go ahead, give that a smash. Hit that like button for me. It really does help us out. Hey, LR Darts is here. Awesome. That's the first time I've heard that analogy. I appreciate it. Yeah, you got it, Rhino. And if you're a 3 handicap dude, you know how to hit the ball. It's all about just trying to clean up these little ancillary things. Like I was just describing to Josh, who's a newer golfer, right, Rhino? Don't let, the pursuit of these things, and I spent years and years trying to get like a perfect looking swing on camera, and I wasn't actually getting better at golf. I was learning how to swing the club in a prettier way. But the golf ball doesn't know what your swing looks like. All it cares about is impact. Where's the face pointed? Did you hit the ball solidly? Is the face, is it going to go where you want it to? Right? That's what golf is about. It's about impact. So we should spend a huge amount of our time practicing impact. And instead, what we've been taught to do is watch our swings on camera, chase these positions, right, where the club is supposed to be, or it's supposed to be at this angle or this way at this certain point, instead of, can you hit the ball solidly and consistently? And if you watch the PGA Tour, we should have all learned this years ago, because there's, for every 100 guys, 100 different swings. Some of them have similar features, but a lot of them don't. You see a lot of weird swings. Jim Furyk can swing it like this, or Matt Wolff can swing it, up like this and around. John Rahm can swing it, just short and inside like this. The golf ball doesn't know what the swing looks like. So if you practice impact as an outsized percentage of your practice, you will see your scores drop, because that's what matters. You can preset impact. I like, getting into that position where my hips are open and my hands are forward. This is how I'm going to hit the ball, and then swinging through from there. So there's lots of different ways we can practice this skill. The skill is hitting the center of the club face, controlling where that club face is pointed at impact, and hitting the ball first. So that is my teaching or coaching philosophy pretty much in a nutshell, guys. Work backwards from impact. $50 likes on the stream, guys. Shout out to you guys. Showing some love. Gassing us up. That's amazing. Also, look at this glove. We got to find a way. There's got to be a glove company out there that's like, John, we'll just send you some gloves. Talk about them on the stream. Because, guys, it's getting worse, not better. I thought it was going to... I didn't think it was going to keep getting worse. I'm struggling at the moment with what my coach is telling me is my sequence, getting my arm to drop to left arm parallel, then rotating. When I commit to that feeling, I hit behind it. So they are kind of two separate things, right, Ethan? Being able to sequence your swing appropriately and hit it solidly, right? So what you're saying is, I can do the proper sequence, right? But I can't do the proper sequence and hit the ball solidly. So what I would have you do, if I was your coach, is go through that sequence, but you have to do it at a slow enough speed where you can maintain your ball striking, right? So you might have to truly go at like 50% speed with a full swing, but just go really slow, learn how to feel that drop, and still hit it solidly. And then you build the speed up. Because what I imagine is happening is you can rehearse it and you have a new feel. You know, like, okay, this is what it feels like, right? I'm really trying to, you know, let the arms drop and then turn. But you have to be able to do that and maintain the strike. The awesome thing about the pros is all their impact positions are the same. Exactly. Yeah, you got to get to impact. You got to hit the ball in the center of the face. Any tips for mentally overcoming the fear of shanking? I'm a 4 index who's normally a decent ball striker. Over a year ago, I had the shanks for 2 months and still have fear. Well, Crispy, that's something that you're going to have to, you know, manage in your own mind. And I understand the fear and the anxiety where it comes from, of standing over it, being like, man, you know, I really hope this doesn't just come off the hosel randomly. If you do feel that coming on, maybe tell yourself like, hey, maybe we'll just hit this one a little bit out of the toe. If you're a 4 handicap, you can definitely move your strike around enough to where if you were saying there like, man, I just am so afraid of shanking this specific shot, just tell yourself, okay, well, we'll try to toe this one a little bit and make sure we don't hosel it. I think it can also be helpful, dude, to just let go of all of it. Just ask yourself, like, what's the worst that could happen? Rory was talking about this recently. And what you'll find is like, yeah, maybe I'll shank it, but then it's just going to go over there and I'll go hit it again. So that's one approach. Another approach, I think, is really trying to reinforce the positive, right? If you hit a good shot, you know, that's not, obviously not off the hosel, you got to really ingrain that. Say, man, that was a good swing. That felt great. It was a good result. Not worry about the fear so much, but lean into the other side and push ahead with like really congratulating yourself. Because, guys, don't forget, golf is really hard. How do I get more power? 2 options. You can optimize your launch conditions, or you can generate more club head speed, so swing the club faster. Appreciate your help. You got it, Ethan. Better contact. That can work too. When I hit on a turf mat, I think I hit it good, but most of the times I hit it bad. How do I tell? So you can use like masking tape or a towel or a band or something to drop down right behind your golf ball. You know, give yourself maybe like a 1 club head distance to start. And this is going to tell you, and then as you improve, right, you would move it closer, make it more difficult. But this is going to tell you, did I hit it heavy? If I did, I'm going to hit that marker, that towel, get feedback. And what you're working on is learning how to hit the ball first and then the turf, but not hitting that band, just like I did there. So that can definitely make your mat practice more useful. What was the biggest hit cover trick? Harper, you talking about the head cover? Tell me more. Hey, Wonky Golfer's here. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I don't know, how do I do that better? So, Delisa, let's talk a little bit more about speed. So, if you want to hit the ball further, generally we're talking about driver, but it could be with any club. There's 2 ways to make sure you do that. If you hit the ball in the center of the club face with good, solid ball first contact, that's like prerequisite number 1. You have to do that to maximize how far the ball will travel. Let's say you do that, you are hitting the face in the center, and your launch conditions are optimized. So with driver, that means you're launching it at 13 to 18 degrees, spins in the low 2000s. Those are kind of the key things we want to see. You know, and obviously you're hitting the ball in the center of the face. So that's how you're going to optimize the distance the ball will go. That's option 1. Option 2 is learn how to swing the club faster. So generate more club head speed. That could be golf-specific speed training. It could be just lifting weights in the gym. It could be, you know, practicing at the end of your range session, hitting your own driver 20 times as hard as you possibly can. Like a workout, you know, just every single time, trying to go to 110%. Like, how fast can I move this club? Right? So a bunch of different ways. But those are really just the two choices, as far as I see it. What was the head cover trick? Oh, so if you're slicing the ball, guys, grab a head cover. This is the best drill. You'll never slice again. Drop this down behind the ball and slightly to the right, like this. So if you slice, this is going to block your path to the ball. You know, across it with the open face, that's what's causing your slice. So if you can learn how to hit shots without disturbing that head cover, you're going to get that club working more from the inside. And if you can keep the face square or close it a tiny bit, you'll see that ball draw or fly very straight once this path is more neutral, right? So you don't have to go full speed like I just did there, right? You can go slow and work on this, not hitting that head cover. Put some duct tape behind the ball on a turf mat. There you go, Range Doctor. Appreciate your help. What should I do if I hit my 6 and my 5 the same distance? Well, it's probably at that point about speed and launch conditions. So all of us at a certain point, with the exception of high-speed players, are going to, you know, those longer irons are going to compress, right? A 4-iron might go 220, but a 5-iron goes 210. Whereas a 9-iron, you might hit 145, but you could hit a 7-iron 185. That is just because the longer the club gets, the more, you know, efficiently you need to transfer energy into the ball. And if you don't have enough club head speed, it's going to be hard to really maximize those long ends of the range. So I would more accept this as, you know, a reality of the club head speed that you currently have, and think about getting a hybrid if you have a gap, right? Say your 6-iron goes 180 and you don't have a club that goes 200. Well, you might need a hybrid or a 7-wood or something. Hey, Samuel's here. Just wanted to ask, have you played any South African courses? I have not, Samuel. I've never been to South Africa. I'd love to go. How do I take a divot after hitting the ball? So what you need to do, Samuel, is get that low point moving forward in transition. What do I mean by that? Well, when we start the swing, the club is behind the ball, right? That's our low point. This is where we're touching the ground. In order to get it forward so that we can hit this ball, right, the ball's sitting on the ground. So in order to hit it with this angled face, we need to hit down like this, right? That means the low point is going to be in front of the ball, so that we're hitting the ball and then the turf in front here. That's our divot. So I like working on that or having people practice it away from the golf swing. So just practice your backswing where your weight shifts to here. Transition is you're getting your weight into this lead side. So it's backswing, weight shift, downswing. And you can practice this, like I always say, at slower speed. And Samuel, just work on hitting some little tiny shots where you hit that ball first and then the turf. Just make it a little divot in front of the ball. And as you get more comfortable doing that, then you can start adding a little bit more speed, trying to hit the ball further, but maintaining that solid strike where you're hitting ball first, then turf. Hey, Cosmic Wisdom, hope you're having a great day today as well. Considering playing 18 on my simulator, played 36 yesterday and scored 88. 88 to 82 is a great improvement, my friend. I have a 7-wood, but I just can't hit my 5-iron well. Even when I pure it, it goes the same distance as my 6. Well, it sounds like you have 2 clubs that go the same distance. And that's probably not the best for, you know, setting up your bag. Maybe try a 9-wood, Jonathan, or some sort of hybrid. I have my bag setup right now is driver, 5-wood, 7-wood, 5 hybrid. And then I have a 5-iron, 6-iron, 7-iron, you know, down through the wedges. John, I've noticed a lot of creators doing matches versus haters. I'm not a hater, but if you're ever in the Arkansas area and want to do a match versus a viewer, I'm down. Well, Range Doctor, I appreciate you saying that. That means a lot to me that you'd be willing to, you know, participate and support the channel in that way. I agree. I don't think my future in content is in, you know, if I have haters, which I guess there are people who probably don't like me on the internet, which is fine, but like that's not the vibe that I'm trying to put out, right? But, you know, this is about optimism and positive energy, and you know, so my approach to that would definitely be different. But you're absolutely right. It would be great to involve some viewers on the channel and see some different golf courses that way. That could be really fun. Range Doctor says, I love the sobriety post. Thanks so much, my dude. Yeah, it's definitely become a huge part of my content and it's obviously a big part of my identity as a person, but it really seems to be the thing that resonates with people the most, at least as far as my content goes. Because there's plenty of good golfers out there, right? If you want to watch the best golfers in the world, turn on the PGA Tour. If you want to watch Brad Dahlke and Grant Horvat, all these amazing golfers on YouTube, they're there too. But my perspective and the things that I talk about are different. I have something different to offer. Golf is obviously a through line in that, but that's why I'm so excited about trying to do this and pay my bills and be able to do this full time and spend even more time adding value and talking to people about these things, because nothing that I've done in recent memory fills me up and validates me in the way that hearing from you guys, like on these streams where people will come and say, hey man, I was drinking a lot and I heard you talk about it and I made a change in my own life, or you inspired me to stop using drugs. Like, those are the craziest moments for me where I'm like, wow, if I'm having a real impact on people's lives by just talking about my experience and being willing to put myself out there, then isn't that the whole point? If I could help even just one person, that would be worth getting up every single day to do. And to know that there's a bunch of you guys out there who are learning stuff and hearing me talk about things is valuable to you, that means so much to me. So I'm excited to see where things go with the channel, if we can keep growing. It's only been 10 months, guys? I started in January. We're coming up on 7,000 subs. We've got hundreds of people in these live streams sometimes. So we're still, in the second inning of this thing. I have no idea where it's going to go. I don't know how, I'll continue to do. I don't know if I'll plateau at a certain point or if I'll, continue figuring out ways to make this new and different and better. But that's what's exciting about trying and figuring it out. So I'm incredibly grateful to all you guys who continue to show up and support me and engage with the posts and, give me this feedback. So I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity, and I'm very excited about where we're headed. Agreed. Would love to play around just as a fan. Maybe I'll shoot 100. Yeah, I think we'll definitely figure out a way to make this happen at some point, guys. Wow, it is getting much darker than I anticipated. And cold. You know what? I'm gonna do some more of these paddle hand drills just so I can keep my hand warm. So I hope that resonates with some of you guys. I know there's plenty of people here who are like, yeah, I just want him to fix my slice and, go about my day. But I do think there's a subset of people who are here for the right reasons, and we're working on building a community together, and that's what's so exciting to me. Higher Ground Productions is here. I'm in Rhode Island, my dude. Small but mighty. Northeast part of the United States. Whew. Gotta stay hydrated out here, guys. A lot of talking, a lot of swinging. Wonky says, golf has changed my life in a positive way. I'm a massive advocate for golf and its benefits to your physical and mental health. Totally agree, Wonky. Totally agree with everything you said. As someone in recovery, I obviously played golf, for a long time before I got sober, but it's an amazing tool. It's an amazing tool. It gives us access to nature and being outside. You get to spend time socially with people. You get exercise, especially if you're walking the course. There's so much that we can learn from golf in a practical sense, taking care of our bodies, but also in an understanding sense, right? Golf is a beautiful metaphor for life in a lot of ways. And I say that in the sense of, we've all had the experience of getting a bad break or, not getting the job we wanted. We've all hit balls right down the middle of the fairway and you walk up there and it's in a divot. You did everything right. You still end up with a tough shot you got to play. Just like how sometimes you slice the ball into the trees and it gets a good bounce and it gets back in the fairway. And you go, oh, wow, you know, that was my time for a lucky break. That's just how life goes sometimes, guys. It truly, you know, there's a lot of randomness. It's hard to understand how things work sometimes. And golf can be like that too. Manny says, great content and thanks for the advice. Going to go and do as you said. New sub here. We'll be logging in more often. Thanks, John, and be safe. Well, that means a lot to me, Manny. Thanks so much for your support and for engaging with the stream this evening. But yeah, we're going to be doing more of this. You know, as long as the weather cooperates, we'll be outside as long as we can be. But then also, as you guys have seen, we do some putting streams inside when the weather's bad, so we still get to hang out and talk about stuff. Work on our putting, especially with the Pels tutor inside. I love working on those short putts, making sure we're starting the ball where we want. Matthew said, so insightful. I completely agree. I appreciate you saying that, my friend. If you guys are enjoying the stream like Manny and Matthew, hit that subscribe button for me, guys. I think we are probably going to hit this last ball here and then call it a night before the sun completely disappears on me and my toes are fully frozen. Absolutely agree. If you can overcome the hardships on the course, you can do so in life too. Absolutely well said, Wonky. Absolutely. All right, guys, one more swing for today. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and a productive Monday. We'll be back tomorrow with another stream in the afternoon. Stay tuned. We might have another stream later today. See how the rest of the day goes. But as always, I'm incredibly grateful for your support. Keep up the hard work. And we will see you next time. One more chance to drop that like, hit that subscribe button before we sign off for the evening. But until tomorrow, guys, I'll talk to you soon.